we're going to talk to each other. Hi, everyone. So exciting. So I just wanted to come on a minute early while the music is jamming loud at the Starbucks, getting some jazz music on. So hi, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. And Bonnie, I don't know if you've gotten a chance to look at the chat box, but we are having some good questions already, which is good. You muted yourself instead of the YouTube video.
How do I do that?
Go to the video in the Building Intentional Community screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do you see it?
So I muted.
You're good. We can hear you.
Okay,
yes.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're totally good.
Right.
Bonnie.
Yes.
I'm so excited you're here.
I know. In my dining room.
I love it.
Thank you.
Can you tell me what it says on your chalkboard?
Yes, it says, seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly with God, which is the memory verse I'm working on.
Oh, how often do you do a memory verse?
Well, I was trying for once a week, and at first it was great, and then it was too much in my brain, and so I had to go to like bi-monthly.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I really like that about, I don't know if you saw that on the planner, we have a weekly verse, and I feel like they're like small enough too where they can be like used for memorizing also.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so we're going to get started. I'm so glad again that you are here, and I'm just going to introduce Bonnie. Bonnie is a blogger at A Knotted Life, and she also co-hosts the Visitation Project, which someone already mentioned in the chat that they've been listening to it like all day. They said they can't get enough of you, Bonnie.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Along with Heather and Rebecca Freck. Anyway, so Bonnie lives in Central Illinois. You have 5 kiddos, right?
I have 6 now.
6. Yeah. I need to change your bio on the site.
I know, it's okay.
6 kids. And it says you bake fantastic chocolate chip cookies. And I don't think I tasted those. Did I taste those in Finding Your Fiat? I did. You gave them to me right when I got there.
Yes.
They were delicious.
Okay, good.
Okay, Bonnie, what's that?
I said maybe they weren't so memorable.
No, they were. They were delicious.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm really excited about what you're going to talk to us about tonight on building intentional community. And I think it's something that all of us, no matter how good of friendships we have or relationships we have currently, I think that there's always a level of intentionality that we can work with and work on. And so I'm really excited to hear what you have to say.
Oh, good. Okay, good. I am so happy to be here. So let's get going. Okay. I wanted to start by defining community, because I think that if I don't start off by saying what I see community as, then we could be all working with different definitions and not really getting anywhere. So when I am talking about community, kind of first and foremost, I am talking about the people who you surround yourself with. These are the people who are going to, if you just had a baby, or if you're having surgery, or if your husband is laid off, or whatever is happening, if you just got a promotion at work, these are the people who are going to bring you a meal. They are going to bring you flowers. These are the people who are going to come over and drink a beer on your patio, or you're going to be invited to their home for a potluck. I think that kind of depending on everyone's stage in life, these are the people that you're going to, you're going to raise your kids with each other, and they might be kind of a step or two ahead of you or behind you, but you're kind of walking on that journey of your vocations together. And I think that it's pretty safe to assume that since we're all here with Blessed is She, that we are also seeking community that is really founded and rooted in Jesus Christ. and in our Catholic faith. And so when I'm talking about community, for me, an integral part of that is being with people who believe what I believe. We have shared morals and ethics, and we're worshiping together, and we're kind of working together to know, love, and serve God better, because that is our ultimate goal. And so, I'm all for having friends who don't believe the exact same things that I do, and we have different opinions and whatever. But when I'm really talking about the people who are going to kind of accompany me through life, those are the people who are going to get me, and how I don't have to explain my life choices or defend my life choices, because they already understand them. So, okay. And I like to think of it too as if we look at Jesus, then in his community that I can see, he had his 72 disciples, and then, which was, the great big group of people who they were living together, they were eating together, they were putting their salaries together, like in a community pot to be divvied out as was needed. And, they were breaking the bread together and all of that. So there was this larger group of people, the disciples. And then within that group, there were the 12. And the 12, along with Jesus, had a more focused goal, like what they were doing in life brought them together in a more specific way, if you will. And then from that 12, we often see in the New Testament, in the Gospels, how it was Peter, James, and John. So Jesus would call Peter, James, and John to go up to the mountain for the transfiguration, or Peter, James, and John were called aside for a special teaching or extra prayer time or whatever. And so I really see those, I refer to that as the three. Those are the people who the relationship is pretty intimate with. Those are the people, like for me, it's my husband, it's my very good friend Katie, and there's a couple other women who really walk with me, and they see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they love me anyways. So when I'm talking about community too, I think there's the bigger picture of the 72, there's the smaller picture of the 12, and then there's the more intimate, the most intimate of the three. Okay, so why does all of this matter? I think if you're here, you already know why it matters. Probably a lot of us I think we are longing for community. We are longing for relationships that are going to build us up. And, the Bible talks about iron sharpening iron. And so there's that friction that makes us sharper, that makes us better. And what it comes down to is we were made in the image and likeness of God, and God himself is a relationship. So it is completely natural that we would crave for a relationship when we are made to be like God, who himself in the Trinity is a constant exchange of love, right? So if you are looking for a community, if you want to build intentional friendships, if you're trying to find your niche and your group and your people, and maybe you're struggling with that, or maybe you already have that and you're just trying to sharpen it a little bit more, I just want to kind of validate you and applaud you for wanting that, for knowing that that's important, and for pursuing that. Okay, so if you don't have it, this is like one of my biggest pet peeves. If you don't have it, don't complain about it. Not to be annoying, but don't complain, especially not to me, because what I'm going to tell you is that you need to be the change that you want to see in your community, in your parish, in the world. There's a Gandhi quote, and this is this print. It's by Brick House in the City, and it hangs in my kitchen at the end of my hallway. So every time I walk down my hallway into my kitchen, which is so often because I have kids who are hungry all day long. But I see this quote and I'm reminded that if I don't like how something is, or if I see a lack, then I could blame that on someone else and put that on someone else. Oh, my mom, my parish doesn't do this. My parish doesn't do this. Or I could say, my parish doesn't do this. Maybe it's because I haven't stepped up to do that yet. So be the change you want to see in your parish, your community, your neighborhood, your group of friends. So now I have challenged you. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll feel empowered to maybe to start some ministries or to start some groups and to kind of, go after that so that you can be the change that you wish already existed. I'm going to get a drink of water, excuse me. Now, hopefully, I know earlier today, Jenna sent out an email and it had this worksheet for tonight's workshop. So hopefully you got that and you downloaded it. But basically what it does, and I'm going to kind of quickly walk through it, is if you want to build intentional community, I think the first step is to figure out what kind of community you can build. So if you see my little circles, on one side you need to figure out what are the activities that you enjoy and what are the gifts and talents that you have. And then on the other side, you need to figure out what is the need in your area. And in the middle, where those two overlap, that's the group you can form, that you can found and pursue, right? If you want to be part of a prayer and play group where the moms pray together and the kids play, but that already exists, then you just need to join that group, right? You don't need to start something new. But if you want that and it doesn't exist and you have the skills and ability to make that happen, then that's what you should do. That's what I want to encourage you to do. A perfect example, like a real life example, comes from my mom, I think. My mom is an empty nester, and thanks to, she's a lifelong Catholic, and thanks to Matthew Kelly and Dynamic Catholic, she is just on fire for God and loves her faith and is trying to build up the kingdom of God here on earth. And she's really good at hosting. She's amazingly good at serving. She likes bringing people together. She likes visiting with other women. And she saw that her parish did not have a moms group. And she saw that I was involved in 2 moms groups, and both of them were incredibly life-giving for me and for my family. And so she saw that need, and she knew what she could do. And she combined those things, and she approached her parish and said, we don't have a moms group, and I was wondering if I could help start that. And her parish said, no. So your parish, when you approach them, they might say, no, you can't do that. Her parish said, we've tried a moms group before and no one ever came. It just never took off. So, we've tried that, we've done that, we're moving on. Your parish might tell you no for a different reason. But, hopefully they say yes and you get to progress. But if they say no, then do what my mom did. And she said, okay, thank you. And she went home and she called one of the women from her parish, who is my age, who has 4 little kids. And she said, I think our parish should have a moms group, and we can't hold it at church, but I am willing to open my home twice a month. And if you know any other women who want to come and bring their kids, I will invite some of my friends who are also empty nesters to come, and we will babysit your kids while you and your friends discuss Holy Scripture, church teaching, pray together, whatever it is you want to do. So does her parish have an official moms group? No, they don't. However, there are 5 to 8 women who come together twice a month for the unofficial moms group at her parish. And it's a smaller parish, so really that's a pretty good statistic, That was a perfect example, I think, of my mom being the change she wanted to see in her parish and taking the activities she enjoys and the need that she sees and making something happen. So that's kind of your first goal. And it doesn't have to be a moms group. I think that's the other thing. If you like knitting, then get together with women to knit. If you really like cooking and you have friends who like cooking, then get together, make freezer meals, put some of them in your freezers and send some of them to women who just had babies or families who maybe need a little extra help financially. There's ways that you can do what you love and make it a service. You can have coffee and play dates. You can have a gardening club and divide hostas or something really exciting like that. Book clubs, wine nights. I also think that a really great example of something you could do is with these Blessed is She workshops that you could on a monthly basis, because there will be at least one workshop a month, that you could gather women from your parish and community and in your home, at the Knights of Columbus Hall, in your parish hall, wherever, watch the workshop as a group. Women can bring wine, soda, snacks, desserts. Everyone can kind of share the wealth for potluck style, and then you watch the workshop, you participate in the Q&A, and when the workshop is done, you guys hang out and have a night where you're just building that community even more. You know, most of you are probably already Blessed is She members. If you're not, you could probably approach your parish and say, hey, give us $100, buy this membership for us so that we can have this. I mean, I think it's right there. You don't need to do anything else but find a location, buy some chocolate, and show up, you know? And then national speakers will be coming right to you once a month. So those are my ideas, and hopefully some of those ideas have inspired you to you know, to kind of think about what it is that you are passionate about, what you want. After you have that idea, the next thing you need to do is figure out who you can invite. And in this area, I really mean it, write down a list of names of women who you think would be interested in attending your group. Write them down, and some of them could be like, you know, you might be thinking, oh, I don't know, she's really busy. Let her tell you that she's too busy. Don't you decide that she's too busy. Put her name down. And then after you have that list of all the people that you could invite, you need to choose your core team members. That's the next section. So from that list, find the women who you can win over. We have a group at my parish. It's a monthly mom's night out. And I went to certain ones of my friends and I said, I want to do this and I want you to help me. And what that means is you need to commit to coming every month. You need to help me with the advertising, putting bulletin announcements, lining things up, taking care of emails, helping to kind of facilitate stuff in the Facebook group. And then because these women all know different pockets of women from our parish, I was like, you need to then do personal invitations to invite more people so that we have a really broad, you know, so that we get the 72 basically, you know. And they did it. They agreed that there was a need, they wanted to be part of it, and they committed to being a core team member. And so we share the responsibilities, so it's not too much. And if you are an introvert, then I want to say building your core team will be really fun for you, because find a bunch of extroverts and have them do the things that as an introvert you don't want to do maybe. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. Some of us can gab and talk to anyone and have a good conversation with a tree. And some of us are more insecure and kind of just, I don't know, we stand at a distance at school pickup or whatever. I do that too. So find those women and make sure you have a good balance on your core team. Women that you trust, and I would say women that you want to get to know. I am pretty open about the fact that this sounds weird, but like I kind of check out women. Like I'll see a person and I'll think, wow, she just looks amazing. Like she seems funny. She seems really just laid back, easygoing. There's something about her. Her holiness is attractive, and who she is attractive. And I don't mean that, you know, in a creepy way, but but like I want to get to know her and I want to be better friends with her. And so that is a relationship that I will pursue, you know, like inviting them to be a part of something, maybe chatting with them after Mass or whatever, introducing myself. I will be intentional in finding the women who I feel like, maybe we'll get together, maybe we'll hit it off, and just opening myself up a little bit. And that's scary. I do want to say that. It's scary because you're being vulnerable, and there's a chance that they're going to think you're a freak, that they're going to think I'm a freak. But in the end, it's worth it, because I have gotten to know so many women who are so amazing. And as as we have grown in our friendship, and our husbands have grown in their friendships, and our kids who attend school together and everything, like I have really been able to grow kind of that 12, that group of the 12, So I encourage you to do the same. Okay. The last thing on your worksheet is the timeline. And I really mean it. If you don't commit to stuff, if there's a group you want to form, if there's a way, and the group really it's a means to an end. You're doing this so that you can get to know people better. But make a timeline. My goal to have this group established is here. The core team members will be finalized, meaning you're going to invite, they're going to commit by this time. The group goal, name, schedule will be finalized by this time. And really, the school year is starting, so I think September is a really great time to have your first meeting. If you want to get something going in the next couple of months, you still have time. So that's the worksheet. That's what you need to do. That's what I would suggest doing. That's what works for me. However, with building intentional community, there's some important rules. And if you start this ministry or this group, this running club, whatever, I think that it's always important to have these rules, so that, and like from the very beginning, from the very first time, so that everyone's on the same page, and you never have to kind of, work in reverse to catch up and fix things. So number one, no husband, boyfriend, man bashing. If you're having problems with the relationships with the man in your life, then getting together for your mom's group is not the time to rag on your husband, and that needs to be clear and understood from the very beginning. We as women need to build up and support our husbands, and that doesn't mean that like we agree with everything, every decision that they make. Doesn't mean that we're always happy, but it's always just really beautiful to see the women who speak about their husbands in a very respectful way. And it's always kind of an icky feeling when there's women who are just always like knocking their husbands down behind their backs, So be the woman who builds her husband up. Be that example for other women too. Number two, no church bashing. Do not rag on your pastor. Do not grumble. Do not complain about the parochial school, about the parish office staff, about, the liturgy and how they always sing the song that you hate. I'm really bad because our church has a mural that is, I always say it literally and figuratively looks like hell. And that is very accurate. But I have had to, and see, I just said it on, forever, it's going to be on this workshop, but I have like grumbled about that a bunch. And so I have to like rein that in. Like, Bonnie, it's time to stop making jokes about how ugly this mural is and just really focus on the fact that you're a member of a parish that is Orthodox and beautiful and joyful, and the pastor is merciful and loves Jesus and loves his job. And, so that's what I need to focus on. Okay, no church bashing, no priest bashing, none of that. No gossip. Just don't do it. We're not supposed to do it. It's a sin. And I hope that as you're building these intentional communities, that you will be with women who will understand the importance of that and who will be bold enough to call the group out on it. I did a summer Bible study. We used the Blessed is She Bible study. And it was smaller groups. So it was me and 2 other women. And there was a day when my friend Chris said, you know, we're going to throw down the G card because we're gossiping. And so we just need to stop this conversation where it is and move on to something better. And I was so glad that she was willing to do that, you know, to put herself out there and really be the leader in that sense. So, you know, and I think she felt comfortable doing it because we had already established the rule of no gossiping. So that was really beautiful to see. So don't gossip. Questions are allowed. I think we're all on a different part of our faith journey, and we're all struggling to understand. And there's going to be things about our faith that might not make sense to us. We might be struggling with NFP. We might be struggling with the church's teachings on gay marriage. We might be struggling with why can't women be deacons and priests. Privately, we may disagree with the church, and that's okay. And it's okay to let women voice that, but it's also important that everyone knows that that group that is meeting, it exists to be faithful to the church. And so if I am privately struggling with, you know, church teaching X, that's fine. And I can talk about that and I can maybe gain insights from the other women in the group. But it cannot be well, you know, I'm right and eventually the church is going to, you know, figure it out and get with the times or whatever. Like those types of comments cannot be allowed and they need to be nipped in the bud. Because orthodoxy matters, because our faith is beautiful and true. It's quirky, yes. Sometimes it can be really hard to live out. I think, at least for me, hopefully it's easier for you, but it is beautiful and it is true. And so, you know, we need to live that out. And lastly, pray together and do something. Every time you gather, you should at least begin or end in prayer. Preferably do both, begin and end in prayer, and have a purpose, something that you're doing in between those prayers. That could be that you are, you know, you're reading the upcoming Sunday readings. You are praying a rosary together. You are doing it's a book club and you're all reading, I don't know, that Kristen Lavestetter book or whatever, yeah, whatever it is. But since you are gathering as Catholic women of faith, you know, pray and celebrate your faith and have that be, you know, our faith is probably already incorporated in our day with our grace and our morning offering and our quiet time and all the things that we maybe try to do and maybe sometimes don't always do. But our time together with friends, you know, that can be kind of bookended with prayer too. And that would be a beautiful thing. That's a gift. Okay, so those are my rules. No male bashing, no church bashing, no gossip. Orthodoxy matters, though questions are allowed. And pray together and have a purpose. Okay, and last, so my last part of the talk is what do you do next? So in about a half an hour, we will all be done and I'll be nursing my baby and you'll be, I don't know, drinking a second cup of wine or something like that. Going to bed, whatever it is, East Coast, I don't know. But what's next is to form your group. If you really feel that God is calling you to do that, you know, find those core team members, find the other women that you want to invite, figure it out what it is that you want to do so that, you know, you can start to form the 72. And then have fun outside of that group. So if you decide to form a bi-monthly moms group, then try to once a month do something where you're having a potluck dinner at the park with your friends, or you know, you're inviting maybe one woman at a time for a play date, or you're going out to coffee, or you're inviting a couple to come out, like go on a double date with you and your husband, so that out of that 72, you're kind of you know, meeting people and getting to know them and having really personal encounters with them, so that you can be oh my goodness, so that you can be in the flesh. Sorry, sorry, that was embarrassing. Uh, I'm not even going to try again, but you know what I was going for. We were made for relationship. We were supposed to be one-on-one and intimate with people. And as you spend time really enjoying those people outside of, I mean, like having programmed fun time is good, but we need to be spontaneous too. And we need to be able to meet people kind of where they are, and so that we can take that relationship and really grow it to the next level as you figure out your 12 and then your 3. Okay, so I hope that made sense. And then I wanted to end with an example of what finding your 3 looks like. I was at a birthday party when Thomas was a newborn, so it was like, 6 months ago. And there was, there was like the 72. This couple, they both had the same birthday, and they rented out the Knights of Columbus Hall, and there was the 72. All these people, family members, people from the parish, people from work, just all their friends had gathered together to celebrate these people. And then at that group, there was kind of the 12. And so it was a group of women who I knew from various, like a mom's group at church, and our kids had been in, the parochial school together and stuff like that. So these were kind of women that, for this couple's 72, this was like the 12 of people that I knew a little bit better. And as I'm sitting at this table, about 4 of them were talking about a Super Bowl party that they were going to go to. And so I guess it was in February. So I was not invited to that party. And they didn't care. They just talked about it. And they were talking about their husbands and the dips that their husbands wanted. And it was obvious that they had been having a Super Bowl party for years together, because that's what they did, because that was their group of 3, right? That was their Peter, James, and John, and Jesus. And I like, instead of feeling excluded, it was this beautiful moment where I realized I don't have to be friends with everybody. Like, not intimately friendly with everybody. I can have great relationships with a large number of people, but it's okay to really zero in and focus on the people who me and my husband enjoy and can relate to and can be challenged and encouraged by. And those are the people that, to find our 3, I guess. So that was kind of, as Oprah would say, that was an aha moment for me of like, it's okay to be intentional and to find those people who are going to accompany you. So I hope that makes sense. But so that's kind of everything that I had. Figure out your 72, find your 12, and then foster that 3. And I hope that happens for you. And so Jenna, that's all I had. I don't know if you want to turn it over to Q&A now. So I can't hear you. Did you?
I said something really inspirational and you missed it.
Okay.
Bonnie, that was awesome. Thank you so much. The feedback in the chat has been so great. I can't wait for you to see it when you're all done. But we've been getting some really great questions.
Okay.
Sorry, I just tried that one. I loved that last example you gave, and a lot of people in the chat are agreeing with that also. Just the way that you were able to take that interaction instead of feeling slighted by it, that you like turned that around and said that this is a beautiful thing that they have, and to cultivate that in your own life is really great. So that's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to get to some questions, guys, and you guys keep asking away in the chat. Okay. And so let me get the first one. I'm going to start from the beginning.
Okay.
I know, so this is from the very beginning before we even started. I know we're going to talk about starting communities, but my question is, how do you gracefully exit one when it's time for you to step away?
Yeah. I think that with that no matter how gracefully you do it, there's still maybe going to be a bump. I think like the best way to do it is like to move to a different town. But unless you do that, there's just going to be a little bit of friction and maybe some difficulties. I think that honesty is always a good thing, but I think that honesty can, sometimes you only need to tell people as much as they need to know. So like if you, for example, if I was part of a group of friends, then I would just kind of say, you know what, guys, I know you're getting together Thursday night, but I can't get together. Thank you for the invitation. I just don't think it's going to work out. And you can, if you keep getting invited, then you can maybe say, like my priorities just have to change and I don't have time, to commit to this. I don't have time. I have decided that I want to pursue this, and you're I don't know kind of the reasons for leaving, if they're like toxic vampire relationships that just leave you drained totally. And if it's that kind of a thing, then it might be necessary to just be a little bit more blunt and say, I can't, like the gossiping or whatever it is that is so hard, just to name it and say, I can't really deal with that in this season of my life. And so, I just have to put my energy towards other things, and I'm really sorry. I still love you and I care about you, but that's just how it has to be. So I don't know, it's kind of hard to answer exactly, but that's maybe helpful.
Yes, that's a great answer. That's
Okay.
very helpful. I think sometimes it's hard to know how honest you should be about things like that. But I think, again, if it's a relationship that you've had for a while, I think there can be a level of honesty without having hurt feelings. But I think there's a fear of that probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think hurt feelings are going to happen.
Yeah.
That's probably just going to be how it is. But
yeah, totally. Okay,
yeah,
so go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay. When you're new to a community and are taking on a leadership role, how do you best navigate the longstanding politics or history of hurt feelings on the part of some members?
Oh gosh. I think to address it, and to maybe, what I have found is that everybody has a different story. And so, there's the truth, and then there's what happened as every person through their brokenness, through their preferences, through their life experiences, received that truth. And so, if you're stepping into a community where there's, or into a role where there are hurt feelings, then it might be helpful to, I guess you could maybe do one of two things. You could talk to those people and say, tell me what you would like to see, like, be positive. Like, what would you like to see happen, to kind of fix the broken parts that you saw before? And not promising that you're going to do that for them, but listening to the input that they have. And I think, again, that'll be a situation where you'll need to say, like, I am not here to gossip, and I'm not here to do the he said, she said type of stuff, but I do, like, you matter to me and your perspective matters to me. And so just tell me your perspective of how we can move forward, and what needs to be done. That might be a good way to do it. When I was first out of college, I got a job at a Newman Center, and I ended up marrying one of the students, my husband, and he pulled me aside one day because I came in and I was like, all right, I've got great ideas and this is how we're going to do it. And like, I didn't listen to anybody. I just went for it. And I did have good ideas, and I was right. Like, let me just say, I was right about the changes I wanted to make. But my husband was like, Bonnie, you're a little bit of a steamroller and you're just plowing everybody down and no one likes you. So it didn't matter how great my ideas were. Like, no one would receive them because I wasn't listening to what mattered to them. So I guess, learn from my mistakes and be a little more gentle and listen. But also being able to kind of stop the gossip when need be. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that was awesome. Kind of going along those lines of like going into an already seasoned space.
Mm-hmm.
What about a question was like keeping things fresh? How do you keep your community fresh and welcoming when seasoned members and even yourself can turn into more cliquish relationships? Like should you spell that out to your current friends and say, hey, I'm going to step out and try to welcome new people? Like, do you have that communication with your friends, and are you an example to everyone, or do you kind of voice it? If that makes any sense.
So I would think that if you are in a group that has become a clique, then if that is still a fruitful group, then it might be good just to let that exist for those of you who are in that group. And if you need to do something, but if it's a bigger community, right? So like if you're in a mom's group that has 8 women and you are kind of a group, you know, a clique, I don't really like that term, but you're a clique, then just let that be your small group where you guys are vulnerable and you share intimate details, and, you know, you're not always welcoming people who can kind of come and go, or new people, because you have established a really deep privacy. And I think that's okay. Like we need that. That's okay to say, this is my small group. We've met together every week for years. However, if you think there needs to be more, if there's like another group of women who want what you have, but they don't have a leader, then I would encourage you to start another, like, do kind of the focused discipleship method, where, you know, this is our small group that we meet once a week for whatever, and each of us are going to find, you know, 3 more women, and we're going to start another group. So we're being fed in this group, but then we're going to gather more women and build them up and help them establish what we have so that they can be fed too. If it is a larger group, like a parish mom's night out or something like that, where there's 15, 20, 45, whatever, however big your parish is, women who are coming, I think that especially the leaders and the core team members, they need to make a point that they are going to talk to as many women there as possible. And you need to introduce women and, you know, bring people into conversations. It is okay to have a small group that exists as a small group, as long as it's being fruitful. It is, and I think that if it is being fruitful, you need to branch out then and take that fruitfulness elsewhere by starting, you know, as I said. But if it's a bigger thing, you cannot, I mean, that's not, you got to treat people the way you want to be treated, you know, like I tell my kids all the time. So that's what I think.
That's awesome. Something I found, this is kind of a personal question, something I found others kind of complaining about or talking about the Catholic Church is how Protestants tend to be a little bit better in the hospitality arena. And I'm not sure why. I know how I am, and I'm totally like, I'm just going to talk to the people that I want to talk to or that I'm here to chat with, as opposed to like looking outside of myself and treating others how I want to be treated. I struggle with it. And I don't know why it seems like people of other faiths, even Mormons, I don't really know actually, but I wonder how they're so much like ingrained kind of to go out of themselves and to reach out to new members, as opposed to like, do you think that's just a personal thing? Do you think that's something that the church should be teaching us better, or we should be teaching our children better? Like, or do you think it's just our personality?
Well, see, I kind of want to say like it's our personality, but that's not true, because there's German Catholics and Italian Catholics and Irish Catholics and Mexican Catholics. And I mean, so I don't think it's just kind of who we are. I think it's how our church is structured, and that small groups and evangelization and discipleship is emphasized a lot more in a lot of those Protestant churches that are so much better at hospitality. And I mean, I know of a lot of Catholics who are like, I come, I sit, I stand, I kneel, I'll shake your hand during the sign of peace, and then I am out. because their faith is dead. You know what I mean? And that's all it is to them. And so I think that's just kind of a matter of, we have to be the change that we want to see in our parish, because those people are right. We are not always very welcoming, but we need to be. So, like, for example, Jenna, there was a time when I literally chased a woman down in a parking lot to invite her to a small group couples Bible study, because I was like, she just needs to be there. And it was so hard to connect with her after Mass that I literally did that. And I felt really stupid. And, but you know what? She got the invitation. I put the invitation in her hand, and it was like a little flyer that I had made. And she looked at it and she said, I have wanted something like this for years. And she came, faithfully, she came, because I treated her the way I wanted to be treated, So I think, yeah, it's true. We're not that friendly. But I see that as something that's changing. So maybe slowly, but I do see that tide changing.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I hope it does. I hope we continue to see the ways that we can grow. And obviously it takes prayer and internal realization. So, okay, this is another great question. I wonder about social butterfly burnout. Sometimes I feel so overextended in my building and wanting to maintain relationships. Yes. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that's why it's important to have the 3. Because the relationship with the 3 is going to be life-giving for you. And there's seasons to everything. So, and sometimes you just have to pull out of everything and huddle together with your immediate family and just brace the storm and get through to the next season of life. But I think that if you have to kind of pare back from the 72 and even from the 12, it's okay to have a season of life where you are just focusing on the 3. So know thyself, right?
Yeah. How do you keep from those one-on-one interactions from building exclusivity and then making sure that people don't feel left out? I know you're talking a lot about the 3. So is it that when you're in these larger groups, there's just an understanding that you guys are going to be more welcoming to other people, and you have your other set aside time just for your intimate small group?
I mean, that's how I do it. There might, other people might have better ways or ways that work better for their personalities, but that has been what has worked for me. So yeah.
Awesome. Back to those rules that you were stating, which I think are so great, and everyone should start their small groups like that. I think they're awesome. They obviously make so much sense and they should be understood, but it's nice to have rules laid out, and even the leader saying from the top down, we're going to focus on this. And not that it's from the top, but just from here on out, we're going to focus on this. So someone had mentioned in an already established group, how do they bring those rules in? They're like, oh, I was just at this workshop with Bonnie and here are her rules. Is there a way you think you can ease into that?
Yes, I do. See, it's hard because it's I know what I would do, and I would just be like, hey, I was at this workshop and they had these rules and I thought they were really good and that we should, establish them in our group. But if you're not like me, then it might be good to send an email or talk one-on-one with the leader of the group. And I think that's something where because if you're excited about something, and if these people are your friends, then you're going to want to, I just saw this, I experienced this, I want to share it with you, right? Because I thought it was really good and affirming and life building and everything. And I just thought that we could implement it. And I think that's okay. And so whatever works best for your personality and the personality of the leader, that might be kind of tricky. But, if nothing else, I think that it's okay. Depending on the group, I could totally see where because I've been in situations before where like the leader and I are pretty much the same person, and therefore we butt heads. And it's like, oh my gosh, you are so much like me, and I just cannot stand you, you know? But but in those types of situations where I did feel like, you know, there is gossip going on here and it needs to be stopped, or there, whatever, like I have just said it, you know, and there have been enough people in the group to be like, oh, yes, you're right, you know, so it kind of doesn't matter if I maybe hurt the leader's feelings a little bit, but it needed to be said, and that was the best way to do it. And the group kind of, I don't know, maybe that sounds like a real jerk thing to do, but sometimes you just have to sweep in and get the job done, maybe. I don't know. Pope Francis is like, that is not merciful, Bonnie. I'm working on it.
So we're talking a lot about like finding friends. I think it's easy for people who have kids. It's easier almost for people who have kids to make friends, because you're like, oh, how old is your kid? And look, our kids are around the same age, etc. Or, you know, my husband, and you kind of always have someone with you as a buffer, which I think is nice sometimes. But I know you have friends that you're close to that are single, and how do you think women that are single or older who aren't childbearing anymore, is it the same thing of them like chasing down other single people in the parking lot? Like, how do you think they can best reach out and try to meet people if they don't have kiddos and a husband around?
Yes. I totally think you're true, or you're right about that. And it was immensely easier for me once I had school-aged kids. Then it just like opened this whole new world for me. It was amazing. When I was single, I did things like I attended Theology on Tap, where I met people. Like our diocese always hosted that every summer. So like in my neck of the woods, if I was a single person, and what my single friends do, there is a thriving, amazing young adult group in the area that has like a good 35 strong people. And it's not a place to come together to meet your spouse, because those young adult groups exist. But this is like, truly people seeking Christ and holiness and friendships and stuff like that. So I think that there is that opportunity there, but I would think that it would be the same thing. Like, people from work or from college or from, your church, whatever it is, and you've checked them out, you've been attracted to them, you've wanted to get to know them better, and so you chase them down in a parking lot and invite them to your book club, or, you ask, hey, there's this event happening at the diocese or my parish or whatever is happening, the new Born movie is coming out. Do you love Matt Damon? I love Matt Damon. Let's go see the new Matt Damon movie. Like, I think it's just kind of I think it still exists. So I don't know. Maybe I have people who are like, one of my best friends is single, and if she's watching this, she's like, oh, like, but she's in that young adult group. So I know that she's connected with people through that. So
yeah. I know you touched on being an extrovert. I think it's hard for extroverts to kind of put their feet in introvert shoes, but I guess it's probably the same tip for introverts, right? You just have to put yourself out there at some point.
Yeah. I mean,
there's no other way around it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like my friend who is single that I was just talking about, she's also like a total introvert, and she would be happy crafting in her home and watching movies, for like months and not talking to anybody. Maybe not months, but she really is an introvert, and I know that she forces herself to go to things. Like, I'm going to go to this Bible study. I am going to go to this bridal shower. I'm going to, do X, Y, and Z because it is good for me, because I was made for relationship. And so, she loves like one-on-one type things, you know? So, but it's like the group activities, I think, in her true introvertedness that are a little much. But yeah, I don't know. That's what I would say. You just gotta, sometimes you have to step outside of your comfort zone. And another good thing, I think, like if you want to form a group, like if you feel like you need to, you know, create a ministry or whatever to form a group to meet people, but you're an introvert, then I think you find the closest extrovert that you like and ask to work with them. So that, you know, you tag team. That maybe that would help.
Some women in the chat also mentioned the blessed brunches, and also we're talking about having like a hospitality guide. And I mentioned that you have a great leadership guide that you wrote.
I do.
If you want to share on that, it's a really awesome resource that I would love to be able to send everyone after the workshop.
Okay, yeah. So the Blessed is She Bible study, that when you sign up for the daily emails, you automatically got the Bible study that you could download. It was on faith, hope, love, and mercy. And so that was what my small groups that I was talking about earlier, that's what we did. We had 4 small groups who met over the summer. Some are still meeting. And we covered all of those and prayed together and studied scripture together and everything. And I have led Bible studies. It was part of my job when I worked in campus ministry and everything. So I knew what to do, but some of the other women who were going to lead the groups, they're like, what are we going to do? So I sat down and I typed up a leader's guide of, this is the prayer you open with, these are the questions you do, this is how you read it, blah, 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 blah. And it just kind of gives a format to kind of, to help you stay on task, to know what to do, to kind of follow up. So that was the leader's guide that I wrote that Jenna was talking about. Was there another part to that question?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine.
Okay.
Okay, I don't think there are any more questions. Elise is actually sharing about her small group right now also that started after the Advent gathering. So it's really cool.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, at Blessed is She, we try to provide resources for you guys to be able to start these groups. And I will send over the leadership guide as well as the worksheet that Bonnie was talking about for you to be able to sit down and start working through when you can get this started and have your goals, and the timeline is super handy. So I will resend that out and also send you the leadership guide. And as always, the Blessed Brunches are open to anyone. You just choose to be a host. You tell us the time and date, and date and time, probably in that order. And we give you a hostess guide, and it's basically just you opening up your door, having some refreshments, and everyone else brings potluck brunch food, or whenever you meet, dinner food. So that's a really great way to meet some new women and start building your 12-3.
Yeah, 12-3.
Yeah,
72, whatever, you know?
Bonnie, thank you so much. Go ahead.
So I wanted to let everybody know that Lauren from Brick House in the City, I bought this print, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago. But I reached out to her and said, you know, I'm going to feature your print in my talk. And I was wondering if you would give a discount to the women who participate in the workshop. So if you go to her Etsy shop, which is called Brick House in the City, this print is on like major sale for just $1. It's an instant download, $1. And then she also has a coupon code of BIS20 for Blessed is She. And then you get 20% off any prints that you want to get from her. So it's a great, great deal. So $1 for this plus BIS20 for 20% off. So I just want to say thank you, Lauren, for arranging that sweet deal. So yeah, as a special gift for all of you guys. So thanks for being awesome, people.
I love sweet deals. Thanks, Lauren.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And Bonnie, I meant to start in prayer at the beginning. Would you mind ending in prayer?
I would love to. I would love to. Okay. All right. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Almighty God, thank you so much for this time together. Thank you so much for all that you are, for all you have given us. We praise you. We bless you. We love you. We ask that you would continue to fill us with your Holy Spirit, with your inspiration. May we go forth from this time together, looking for the people who need to be loved as we fine-tune our own communities. And may the intentional friendships and relationships that we work on and build, may they all glorify and honor you as they bring us closer to you as we live our lives to know, love, and serve you better. I thank you for Blessed is She, and I thank you for this ministry. I ask that you would continue to bless it, bless Jenna, and bless these women who have attended tonight. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. In the Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. Thank you so much to everyone who came. I'm so grateful for you. And yeah, Bonnie, your wisdom was awesome.
Oh, thanks. It was fun. So thank you.
Yay. All right. We'll talk to you all later.
Bye.
Bye.